All right, so what we're going to talk about tonight is using Ezine articles for niche ideas research. Now, I guess we're probably all familiar with Ezine articles and that it's an article directory that you can post articles, and it's a great way for you to build credibility. It used to be posting articles to article databases used to be a really great way to build a list and get traffic, and that since 2011, and I forget what the name of the Google update was called. The algorithm changed in 2011. That all kind of changed, and article databases aren't as good as they were for generating traffic and list building like they were. And a lot of people have kind of left the article marketing altogether, but we're not going to talk about article marketing per se. We are going to look at article marketing, but we're not going to talk about actually posting articles. We're actually going to be looking at what we can do with articles that are already posted onto one of the most popular article websites. So here's an overview of what we're going to learn in this little lesson tonight. We're going to learn some facts about Ezinearticles, the website, EZA for short. You're going to discover how to get tons of popular articles, where to find them. You're going to find out how to discover new keywords, and then you're going to discover how you can possibly find joint venture partners from Ezinearticles. These are the main things we're going to talk about tonight's training. So a little bit about Ezinearticles. The owner of the site is Christopher Knight, who is an experienced entrepreneur that owns many different websites and also is an online marketer himself. He started Ezinearticles as a place for people to be able to promote themselves and their products, and it quickly developed into one of the most popular article database websites there was on the internet. And still today, it is still one of the most popular article databases. Ezinearticles still ranks within the top 1,000 most visited sites according to Alexa, so it still gets lots of traffic. It's if you're not familiar with Ezinearticles, it's an article directory that accepts unpaid submissions from writers in exchange for the authors gaining visibility on their website. In other words, it's a great place for people that want to try to brand themselves and try to brand their business and their products, to go on there and show a little bit about their knowledge in a particular topic and have links going back to their website or some of their products. Now, Ezinearticles has sort of changed the way that you can do linking there. You used to be able to link directly to a squeeze page, and you can't link directly to a squeeze page from their article resource boxes anymore. You can link back to your website, but it has to be to your general website, something that's on your website, instead of just linking to a squeeze page like you used to be able to do. And you still can't link directly to a product for sale. And you never were able to link to affiliate products, although people did at one point in time try to game the system by having redirects that were links going back to their articles or their website that redirected to an affiliate link. They stopped that, pretty quick. But you still can, get lots of good branding, because people do still visit Ezinearticles a lot, and it's still a great place where people go to get content. They generate their revenue primarily from advertising, but they do have a few premium services that they offer. You can actually pay now to be a platinum expert article author over on Ezine. You used to have to be able to earn that, but now you can pay a monthly fee and be considered a platinum expert. Now, Ezinearticles, like I said, was hit by the Google algorithm update in 2011, and for a few weeks, their site and then all of the URLs to the articles they had were de-indexed from the Google searches. This really hurt all of the people that had content posted over on Ezinearticles. Plus, it hurt the Ezinearticles website itself. They weren't getting any traffic, so they lost a lot of revenue on the ads that they did have on their different pages there. But they responded back by appealing to Google to reconsider them to be relisted if they were willing to comply with what Google wanted to see as far as being able to be listed in their search engines, search indexes again. And Google wanted them to be more selective about the content that they had and to tone down the advertising that they had. They used to have a lot more advertising on their article pages than they do now. They still have quite a bit on there now, but they used to have a whole lot more than what they have now. They also wanted Ezinearticles to turn all the links in the articles from do follow to no follow links. So they complied with this, and Google once again re-indexed them and allowed them back into the search engine results. So they've kind of tightened up on what you can do there on their website now. It's not a whole lot more stricter than it used to be, but it is a little more strict than it used to be. They always have had the reputation for being one of the highest quality article directories in that articles didn't get automatically posted to their directory. They had to go through an approval process, which meant that they had people that actually screened the articles before they actually let them go live. So they always did have somewhat of a quality control in what was on their website. It's just that there for a period of time when people were really abusing the article databases, article directories, that Ezinearticles fell into that same trap and started letting some of their quality guidelines slack, and that's when Google made their change in algorithm that took them out of the index searches. And of course, like I said, they appealed to that and complied with what Google wanted so they could get back into the searches again. Okay, so like I said, we're not going to talk about posting articles to Ezinearticles. That's not what our goal is tonight, to post articles there. Although I will say, still, if you want to build credibility, Ezinearticles is one of the best places to do that because it does show a published place for your content that you can show people that you have been published, and it does go a long way for building credibility. But what we're going to talk about is using the content that's on Ezinearticles for getting ideas in case you're stuck for ideas in the niche you're working in, or if you're looking for a new niche. So we're going to start out by looking at the home page, and we're going to switch to this actual website a couple of times through here, and hopefully we won't lose our desktop share too often. If you visit their homepage, which I've got the URL here, and you guys will have this in the PDF that goes along with this lesson this week, they have 30 broad categories with hundreds of subcategories under those 30 broad categories. And just from their homepage, you can discover, new popular niches and generate, new content ideas just from what's on their main homepage. You can also see the most recent articles posted, which is a great way to look for random niches if you're looking for something new to go into or something quick that you want to try to, monetize in some way. So let's switch to the website and I'll show you that real quick. All right, this is how the site looks today. It's changed quite a bit since the 2011 update. Like I said, they still have advertising on the site, but nowhere near as much as they used to have. Now, one thing I want to point out to you, and like I said, again, we're not talking about posting articles here, but one thing I want to point out to you guys is this word right here in the very center of the headline, credibility. This is still a great site to build credibility for yourself. Even though you're not going to get a whole lot of traffic from it, you're not going to build a great big huge list like you used to be able to do. Posting articles over here on this website does build your credibility quite a bit. But anyway, what we want to look at here on the main website is, first off, these are the main categories that they have. There should be, I think, 30 of them is what I counted. I don't believe I counted wrong. But if you click on any one of these, we'll click on finance, for example, and you will see the subcategories pop up of what they have under that. As you can see, they have, looks like about 25, 30, maybe a little better than 30 categories under finance. So, they have a wide variety of sections on their website that you can get ideas from to start with. And again, just looking at the main website, you can see the most recent posted articles here, which can be a huge help in just getting an idea to get started with. You see the most recent articles here, and you could use some of these articles, go into them, and get ideas from something that you might be interested in trying to develop some content around, or build a product around, or maybe develop a niche website about. And then you have the authors listed over here on the right hand side. These are the author spotlights that you can see, the most popular articles or authors. And then they have a link here to more authors where you can actually go in and look for specific authors, or just browse through the whole database to see who's listed as an author there. So that's the main homepage. Like I said, you can get lots of ideas just from the main homepage itself. They also have a sitemap that you can view, and from this sitemap, you can see, a whole lot more about their website in itself, in that you can see the actual listing of the articles that's posted in each one of those subcategories. You go to their main website, and at the very bottom of the page, there's a link to the sitemap, and of course, here is the URL. You can go to it directly from this PDF when you get it. And like I said, this is another great way for you to access all of the contents on their site, because they will have just a general line by line list of the articles that are in all of those broad categories, and then the actual subcategories under those categories. So that's a great way, if you're just wanting to scan through it real quick, look for, title ideas, or just to get general niche ideas from titles. The sitemap is a great place to scan through to look for that. You can also use their internal search engine. They have on their homepage two different ways that you can search. You can search their article database, plus you can search for the authors. Now, what you're mainly going to be interested in if you're looking for niche ideas is the actual article search itself. You can type in keywords that correlate to the theme of your website or the niche that you're working in, and they will pull up a whole list of suggestions, plus they will show, like I said, the results of the actual articles that are found that match the niche. Now, you can also modify these searches in that you can search for, select criteria to get, more targeted results of what you're wanting to find. Go up here to the top, and we'll just type in German Shepherd dogs. And I hope I'm spelling this right. I think that's how I'd spell it. Now, if your niche you're wanting to go into is German Shepherd dogs, which I hope I spelled this right, you will see a whole list of ideas from articles that have been posted that you can gather ideas from. Anyway, like I said, you can do a search for your keyword, and you can see several different articles they have listed here that you can use, to get some ideas. If German Shepherd dogs is something you're interested in, something you wanted to build a product around or a website, you can see several different listings here, and you can go into these different articles and get lots of great ideas. And again, this is an article directory. You're allowed to use the content here as long as you give credit back to where you got the content from, so that you can even use the content for, creating your products if you wanted to do that. So the search is a really good help in finding not only the broad topic of what you're wanting to search for, but also that you can also find, other ideas in that same niche that you may not have thought about. Now, you can also do advanced search, and I'm not going to go through that because we'll probably kill the screen share again. But you can also do advanced search and narrow down what you're actually looking for. You can actually look for the most popular articles, and you can actually look for, specific authors, and you can actually look for, subtopics under your main topic. So using the internal search, you can find, like I said, a lot of different ideas as well in just your broad search. Plus, like I said, you can use the advanced search and actually narrow it down even more to, something that's more specific. And especially if you were to look at some of the articles and find, a keyword phrase that you hadn't thought of, you could actually search for that keyword phrase and find even more ideas from that advanced search. The last thing I want to talk about is using Ezinearticles to find potential JV partners. I wanted to show you guys this live on the screen, but it seems like when we go out to the browser, that's when it kills the screen share. So you'll have to do this on your own once you get this PDF. You can actually type in this URL here, or you can click it when you get the PDF, and you can pull up just the experts and search the experts for people that are in the particular broad niche that you're searching for. You can analyze these experts that write about the topics that relate to your niche, and you can reach out to them because most of them, on most of the articles in the resource box, they'll give some sort of contact info where you can actually contact that author. And it may be, somebody that you're really wanting to connect with that has, a lot of good ideas or maybe some good content that you could maybe work together to come out with, either a new product or a new website or something of that matter. Also, these authors could make great affiliates for you because most of the time these authors over here are building a list in that particular niche. So it could be, they would make a great affiliate partner for you that you could, offer them some sort of a JV deal to promote, one of your products or services. You can also ask them, if nothing else, if they'd be willing to put a website link on their website back to your website or your product or whatever it might be, even if it might be an affiliate link, that you can actually get some traffic that way. These are probably the best ways to get traffic from articles now, is to actually dig into them and start contacting some of the authors themselves and start working with them to work with, either collaborating with them in some way on the project that you're working on, or convincing them to, to be a JV partner with you on something that you're getting ready to do or launch. Or again, like I said, just ask them for willing to link to your website and recommend your website. The last one would actually, since they have, a targeted website that's in the niche that you're working in, would actually help you as far as, SEO goes by having, a good quality backlink. So don't overlook the idea, of contacting these authors, because that's what they're there for. They're wanting to build credibility and get people to reach out to them. So that's probably one of the best uses for article directories now, is finding people that are in your niche that you can contact. Okay, so that was the training that I had for you guys on using Ezinearticles. Now, Ezinearticles is not the only article database there is. There's lots of other ones. There's still some other real popular ones out there. Article Base is another great one to use, that you can do almost the exact same thing as you can with the Ezinearticles. You can find lots of good quality niche ideas from there as well, plus potential authors that you can work with as well.